Good evening, everyone. We just had introductions back in judges' chambers. Just for the sake of everyone else, my name is Jacob Fisher. I will be representing Taylor Hemlex today, along with my co-counsel, Allison Thornton. We brought with us Becky Zucker, who will be playing Dr. Wiley Jones.
Hello, Your Honors.
And Carmen Goda, who will be playing Dr. Parker Reese.
Hello, Your Honors.
May it please the court. We are here today to discuss a tragedy. It is always sad when a bright young soul is torn away from his family before his time. However, we find solace in knowing that our loved ones' wishes can be carried out after their passing, or so we hope. Hello, my name is Jacob Fisher, and today I, along with my co-counsel, will be representing Taylor Hemlex, who has filed suit against Dr. Dana Brody for the unlawful sale of a portion of his brother, Sean Hemlex's brain. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution guarantees that no one shall be deprived of their property and trust by the state without due process of law. By removing a portion of Sean Hemlex's brain in the course of the normal autopsy, Dr. Brody broke no laws. The plaintiff concedes that she was acting fully within the work she was elected to do. However, it is what Dr. Brody did next with which the plaintiff must take issue. By failing to return and selling to one Dr. Alex Gray the removed portion of Sean Hemlex's brain, Dr. Brody overstepped his boundaries as an elected official, and in doing so wronged Sean Hemlex, his family, and the people of Buckeye County, Ohio. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, all body parts of the deceased are sole property of next of kin, a precedent firmly set by the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in Ohio, in Brotherton v. Cleveland, 1991, in which it was ruled that the family of a man killed in a car accident, not unlike the one we are here to discuss today, retained all property interests and rights to his entire body, including all internal and external tissue. Since this case, Ohio law has granted next of kin an inalienable property interest in all body parts of the deceased. By failing to return even a single cell of Sean Hemlex to his rightful place without permission, Dr. Brody deprived the Hemlex family of her constitutionally protected property interests, as the preponderance of evidence the plaintiff brings today will show. To begin our case, the plaintiff will call to the stand medical ethicist Dr. Wiley Jones. Dr. Jones will testify to the court as the chairman of an ethics committee and a doctor that there is a strong tradition and well-regarded necessity within the medical community to respect the wishes and dignity of all patients, staying in strict compliance with state laws. She will tell the court that by engaging in the sale of Sean Hemlex's brain tissue, Dr. Brody stood in opposition to the Universal Ethics Committee Guidelines for Professional Conduct. A coroner, an official elected by the people of her county, must act only in the name of her duty, which is to investigate the cause of death of a particular patient. It is Dr. Jones will explain to the court that it is unethical and unprofessional for an elected official to use any aspect of his or her work for personal gain, be it by lining his pockets with additional profits or building her reputation with ill-gain discoveries. The plaintiff will then call her second witness, Dr. Parker Reese. Dr. Reese will build on the testimony of Dr. Jones by applying her aforementioned medical ethics to our particular case. Dr. Jones' testimony reveals to the court the truly underhanded nature of the sale and removal of Sean Hemlex's brain. A sale which transpired outside of the authority of the coroner's office, without permission of the Hemlex family, and for Dr. Brody's own personal financial benefit. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, your honors, the plaintiff has not filed a suit to discuss the value of scientific inquiry or object to the furthering of medicinal knowledge or debate the subjective nature of what is or isn't for the greater good. We could do that all day without any victim of any neurological disease seeing any tangible benefit. No. The plaintiff has filed the suit because we believe the black and white law has been broken. Dr. Brody was entrusted with the remains of someone's beloved son, someone's beloved brother, and given a simple task: determine a cause of death as the people of your county elected you to do. Instead, Dr. Brody stole a piece of Sean's very mind, his very soul, a piece of the very seat of every emotion, every thought, every dream young Sean ever put forth into the world, for he was so cruelly snatched away from his family by the hands of fate. Then, Dr. Brody sold that piece of a boy for profit like it was a stolen car radio. Today, the plaintiffs will show that the actions taken by Dr. Brody are no different than robbing a dead man of his wedding ring or wristwatch. Please find in favor of the plaintiff. Thank you, Your Honors.
Before I begin, I would like to again formally introduce my team and myself. My name is Gabby Corpus, and I'm again a lawyer, and my co-counsel is Andrew Bowen.
Good afternoon, Your Honors.
Okay. And this is Katie Berger, who will be playing the role of Sidney Christopher. Good afternoon, Your Honors. And this is Jessica Staten, who will be playing the role of Dan Brody. Good afternoon, Your Honor. And before I proceed, would you like me to move to the lectern over here or just move over the hallway?
However you're comfortable.
May it please the court. This case is brought to us today because of Sean Henrich's death, but more so his family's complete over-exaggeration of the removal of a small tissue sample of Sean's brain. Now, since there was no apparent reason for Sean to have crashed, the county sheriff department issued a routine death investigation in order to determine the primary and the secondary causes of death. So, as a part of this routine autopsy, or death investigation, I should say, the county coroner, Dana Brody, was charged with conducting a full autopsy in an official capacity as an agent of the state. Dr. Brody, consistent with county death investigative procedures, notified Sean's family that an autopsy was in fact necessary. After the family consented to the autopsy, Dr. Brody proceeded to do the autopsy as part of the official law enforcement investigation of Sean's death. As part of this routine autopsy, Brody examined Sean's organs, which included the brain, and then sent fluid and tissue samples to other pathologists and nurses, Parker Reese. And whilst performing these examinations, Parker Reese encountered regenerative cells that he reported were extremely unusual, possibly unique, and that research on these cells could be extremely valuable. So when Dr. Brody was faced with this unprecedented medical discovery, he decided to further research of Sean's brain cells and ultimately sold the tissue knowing that he could help cure many neurological diseases. So Dr. Brody's removal and retention of Sean's brain as part of an official death investigation is not an unlawful taking, and therefore there is no violation of the plaintiff's due process rights. In order to prove that there was a